Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What is the most expensive resource you own? It is not your house, not your bank account, not even your career. The most expensive, the most irreplaceable resource you have? Time is the currency of life, the silent force that governs every moment we live, yet it is often the most underestimated treasure. Unlike money, property, or possessions, time cannot be earned back once it slips away. Every second that passes is gone forever, carved into history, never to return. This reality makes time the most valuable and irreplaceable resource we have. Many people live as though they have unlimited time, wasting hours on distractions, procrastination, or meaningless pursuits. But the truth is, none of us knows how much of it we are given. The clock is always ticking, and the days we treat casually are actually pieces of our destiny fading away. When you begin to understand the weight of time, you start treating your life with the seriousness it deserves. The danger lies in the illusion that time is abundant. We assume there will always be another day, another chance, another opportunity to do what we want to do, but that illusion blinds us to the urgency of the present. People often say they will start tomorrow, but tomorrow is not promised to anyone. What you fail to use wisely today is lost forever, and no amount of regret can bring it back. That is why successful people are not just talented or fortunate. They are individuals who respect time, who treat each moment as a gift to be invested, not wasted. They understand that time is life, and how you spend your hours is how you ultimately spend your existence. Think about the countless hours people lose to gossip, mindless scrolling on social media, or chasing approval from others. None of those things add true value to their future, yet they consume what cannot be replenished. Imagine if those same hours were spent sharpening skills, pursuing dreams, nurturing meaningful relationships, or building something that outlasts you. The difference between mediocrity and greatness is often nothing more than how one person chose to use their time compared to another. Time does not discriminate. Everyone is given the same 24 hours each day, but the results differ because of how those hours are valued and directed. The tragedy is that people often realize the worth of time only when it is too late, on hospital beds, in moments of regret, or when opportunities have already passed. They look back and wish they had spent their time differently. Wisdom is learning that lesson now, before time has slipped away. To value time is to value your life. When you choose wisely how you invest it, you are not just filling hours, you are building your future, creating impact, and shaping your legacy. Every decision you make regarding your time is a statement about how much you respect yourself and the life you've been given. Valuing time also requires discipline. It means saying no to what distracts you, cutting off what drains you, and aligning your schedule with your priorities. Too many people give their best hours to things that do not matter, leaving little energy for the things that truly define their destiny. If you do not take control of your time, someone else will take control of it for you. That is why boundaries are not just about protecting your peace. They are about protecting your most precious resource. You owe it to yourself to ensure your time is directed toward growth, purpose, and fulfillment. When you begin to honor time, you start seeing opportunities others miss. You begin to realize that small, consistent efforts, compounded over time, produce extraordinary results. A few minutes each day invested wisely can transform your health, your relationships, your finances, and your character. Time when used with intention, becomes a powerful servant that carries you closer to your destiny. But when wasted, it becomes a silent thief, robbing you of potential and leaving you with nothing but memories of what could have been. One of the greatest reasons many people live lives of frustration and emptiness is because they spend their energy living according to the expectations and demands of others instead of pursuing the path designed for them. When you constantly give priority to what others want from you, you eventually lose sight of your own vision, your own dreams, and your own sense of purpose. It feels good to please people. It feels safe to gain their approval. And it feels easier to follow their agenda than to create your own, but over time it leaves you unfulfilled. Deep within, there is always a quiet voice reminding you that you were created for more, that there are passions and dreams inside of you waiting to be expressed. Suppressing that inner calling for the sake of fitting into someone else's plan is like burying treasure in the ground and pretending it has no value. Living for the approval of others often becomes a trap that consumes the best years of your life. You wake up, go through routines, and work hard, but the motivation is not truly yours. You might be chasing a career because your family expects it, maintaining friendships that drain you because you fear rejection, or saying yes to commitments that have nothing to do with your purpose, simply because you don't want to disappoint others. All the while, your own goals and passions sit neglected, gathering dust in the corner of your heart. This is why so many people appear successful on the outside, yet feel empty on the inside. They have spent their lives building someone else's dream while abandoning their own. The truth is, you were not placed on this earth to fulfill everyone else's expectations. You were placed here to fulfill your assignment, to accomplish something unique that no one else can do in the same way you can. When you live outside of that assignment, no amount of recognition, applause, or success by others' standards will satisfy you. Fulfillment comes when you align your daily choices with your life's purpose. Until you make that shift, you will always feel like something is missing, even if others call you accomplished. Focusing too much on others' agendas also breeds resentment and exhaustion. You may start out willingly giving your time and energy, but eventually you begin to feel drained because your investment is not feeding your spirit. Instead of joy, you feel heaviness. Instead of peace, you feel pressure. Instead of growth, you feel stuck. That is the natural outcome of ignoring your own purpose. Your heart was not designed to thrive on borrowed vision. It was designed to flourish only when rooted in your authentic calling. Prioritizing your purpose does not mean you become selfish or careless about others. In fact, the opposite is true. When you live in alignment with your purpose, you have more to give to others. You are more effective, more impactful, and more inspiring when you operate from your true self rather than from imposed expectations. People benefit the most from you when you bring your authentic gifts to the table, not when you play a role to satisfy their opinions. Serving others becomes meaningful only when it flows out of who you really are and what you are truly meant to do. This is why you must learn to say no with confidence. Every time you say yes to someone else's agenda that has no connection to your destiny, you are indirectly saying no to your own future. Boundaries are essential because they protect your time, your energy, and your focus for what matters most. Your life is too valuable to be spent entirely on detours. Choosing to prioritize your purpose is choosing to respect the limited time you have and the uniqueness of your calling. At the end of your life, people will not remember how well you fulfilled their expectations. They will remember the impact you made by being true to yourself. Regret is the reward of those who ignored their own dreams to live by the dictates of others. Fulfillment is the reward of those who had the courage to prioritize their purpose, even when it meant disappointing others. The question is not whether you can make others happy. The question is whether you can live with yourself, knowing you never pursued what you were truly created to do. Comparison is one of the most subtle but destructive habits that robs people of joy, peace, and progress. From the moment you start measuring your worth, your progress, or your potential against someone else, you place yourself in a race that was never meant for you. Life was not designed as a competition between you and another person. It was designed as a journey that only you can walk in your own unique way. Every individual has been given different gifts, different experiences, different opportunities, and a different timeline. When you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you ignore the reality that their path was never meant to mirror yours. The truth is, your journey is unique, and it requires your full attention if you are ever going to live fulfilled and maximize the potential within you. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you become distracted from the real work you are supposed to be doing. You waste valuable time looking sideways instead of moving forward. Instead of focusing on developing your skills, building your character, and pursuing your purpose, you waste energy being envious of another person's achievements. That envy blinds you to your own progress. You fail to see how far you have come because you are too busy measuring yourself by someone else's milestones. The danger is that you start believing you are behind in life, when in reality, you are exactly where you need to be for your season. Comparison not only steals your joy, it also clouds your vision of your own worth. Every person is on a different timetable. Some people achieve success early, while others bloom later in life. Neither is wrong, because purpose is not measured by how quickly you arrive, but by how faithfully you walk your own path. The world does not need another copy of someone else. It needs the authentic version of you. When you keep comparing yourself, you unintentionally devalue your uniqueness. You forget that you carry something no one else can offer in the exact way you can. Even if two people are given the same opportunity, the outcome will never be identical because their perspectives, personalities, and callings are different. That uniqueness is your strength, but it can only flourish when you stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for direction. Comparison also plants seeds of insecurity. The more you measure yourself by someone else's highlight reel, the smaller you begin to feel. Social media has magnified this problem by constantly showing polished images of success without revealing the struggles behind them. People end up feeling inadequate because they compare their behind the scenes to someone else's finished product. This is why it is dangerous to make another person's journey the standard for your life. You cannot see their battles, their failures, or the sacrifices they made. All you see is the outcome. And when you use that outcome to judge yourself, you dishonor your own growth. Your journey requires your full attention because what you focus on multiplies. If you keep focusing on others, you multiply insecurity, jealousy, and discontent. But if you focus on your own lane, you multiply progress, growth, and fulfillment. Every day is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. But you will miss that opportunity if your eyes are fixed on what others are doing. Progress does not come from being faster than someone else. It comes from being faithful to your own assignment. The key to breaking free from comparison is gratitude and self-awareness. Gratitude allows you to appreciate where you are and what you already have, while self-awareness helps you recognize the strengths and gifts that make you distinct. When you cultivate these, you no longer feel the need to measure yourself against anyone. Instead, you begin to celebrate others without feeling diminished by their success. Their progress does not threaten yours, because you understand that life is not a zero-sum game. Someone else's victory is not your loss. It is simply evidence that success is possible in many different forms and at many different times. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. That is the true measure of growth. If you are becoming wiser, stronger, more disciplined, and more aligned with your purpose, then you are progressing. This kind of focus builds confidence and keeps you on track with your unique journey. When your energy is no longer wasted on comparisons, you can invest it fully into becoming the best version of yourself. The moment you accept that your story is unlike anyone else's, you liberate yourself from the pressure to conform and embrace the freedom to grow at your own pace. Time is the one resource that once spent can never be retrieved, which is why it must be treated as the most precious treasure you own. To protect and guard your time means to recognize its value and to refuse to waste it on things that add no meaning, growth, or direction to your life. Many people lose years of their lives, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they gave their time to activities, people, and distractions that were unworthy of it. When you realize that your destiny is directly tied to how you spend your hours, you begin to understand the urgency of guarding your time. Every single day is like a deposit you make into the account of your future. And careless spending of those days will always leave you bankrupt of progress. There are countless demands on your time every day, from the expectations of family and friends, to the pressures of work, to the endless distractions of entertainment and technology. Your time is constantly under attack. If you do not take control of it, it will be consumed by the urgent but unimportant, leaving little space for the things that truly matter. Guarding your time requires courage to say no, not because you do not care about others, but because you care about your destiny too much to waste it. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. And if what you are saying yes to does not align with your growth or purpose, then you are silently rejecting the things that do. Protecting your time is therefore not selfish. It is an act of responsibility. When you treat your time like treasure, you begin to measure everything by its return on investment. Just as no wise person would bury gold in the dirt or throw diamonds into the trash, you cannot afford to throw away hours on things that will not add value to your life. Ask yourself regularly, does this activity move me closer to my vision? Does it help me grow, learn, or build something that lasts? Or is it simply consuming my energy without giving anything meaningful back? These questions help filter out the distractions that quietly rob you of progress. Many people wonder why they feel stuck year after year, but the answer lies in the careless ways they spend their time. They are constantly busy, but rarely productive, constantly active, but seldom effective, because they have not learned to guard their hours with discipline. Protecting your time also means being intentional with the people you allow access to it. Not everyone deserves your hours, because some people drain your energy rather than fuel your growth. Negative, toxic, or visionless company can waste years of your life with no return. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, encourage you, and help you remain focused on your destiny. The people around you can either multiply your time by pushing you toward your goals, or they can waste it by distracting you from them. Guarding your time requires the wisdom to discern the difference and the strength to distance yourself from anything or anyone who does not contribute to your purpose. In addition, valuing your time means living with structure and discipline. The moments you lose to laziness, procrastination, or aimless wandering are moments you can never get back. Discipline creates order for your hours and ensures they are invested rather than wasted. Even small daily habits, when consistently applied, can compound into massive growth because they respect the power of time. Reading a few pages a day, exercising regularly, learning a new skill, or spending intentional time in reflection may seem minor, but over time they shape your destiny. Protecting your time is not about being rigid, it is about being purposeful, making sure that each day is a step closer to becoming who you are meant to be. Ultimately, treating your time as treasure demands perspective. You must remember that life itself is short, and every day you live is a day closer to the end of your assignment on earth. That awareness should not bring fear, but urgency. It should awaken you to the truth that you cannot afford to waste hours on meaningless distractions when so much potential lies within you. Your time is the soil in